we're on. We're live.
Oh, live.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, we could go live. Mark Wagner here. I am on location. We wanted right behind us here is the Vancouver Library, but it's so backlit. Mark Wagner here. Your weekly DentalBytes. I've been looking forward to this one. I'm just gonna jump to it because it just gets. I just carry on and carry on. We got Faraj Edher live on location. Not live. We already discussed that. How's it going? How are
Good.
things?
Good to see you. Our annual check-in.
Yeah, our annual check-in. That's I was thinking about that on the drive here. I feel so naked now without the like I'm used to monitoring. How, like you just said, that it's tumbling along.
It's tumbling along.
Yeah, is it moving forward at least? Like what's sort of causing the tumble these days?
Well, I think that's the nature of progress. Always, it's easy for us to want it to be or make it look like it's a smooth glide forward, but the reality of moving forward is that you're tumbling forward, and that's how it's always been and will continue to be, I imagine. So yeah.
Maybe like this morning, like even setting up as an analogy
we
of that.
along with that too.
Like we wanted to sit in this beautiful corner. We had these ideas of what it was going to look like, but it just turns into what it's going to be. Yeah. What a beautiful space.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really exciting to create the space for the BC Dental Study Club community. We've had it active since I think October of last year, so we've been using it, and it's made a big difference, I think.
Yeah.
A big difference for hosting all the programs and just having a space for our community members to be familiar with, and it's kind of like now their space, so it's been fun. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like when you're building something, you're always looking at the paint on the wall, right? Like you see these things, but from the member perspective, what are you hearing? Like, are you hearing people are just getting good value out of the community? Like what's sort of been the feedback so far?
You mean for the space or
just in general?
In general, I mean, I think we're very lucky to have the BC Dental Study Club community here locally. From my perspective, and what we hear all the time from our members, is that it's quite unique to have this kind of supportive community that's like-minded but also very diverse and different, all moving towards the same thing, which is how do we better treat our patients and how do we do what we all do, which is stressful and, like you said, sometimes isolating, but getting to do it with a group that allows for us to have some sense of community and knowing that we're not alone in it, whether it's in the clinical education aspect or just troubleshooting real-life problems that we all run into with the nature of what we do. So that's been amazing. The study club's been now 6 years, and over these past 6 years, just seeing the development of the community, and some members have been with us for the full 6 years, and getting to see everyone's journey and getting to know everyone, and like with yourself, getting to see them at different study club events or different community events. It's been great. And then having this space now, I think, just puts a home. It's like we call it the BC Dental Study Club headquarters, because it's like where we now have a home for our members, for the courses we host, for if they want to get together and review something, treatment plan, discuss a case, just sit down and chat about things. We now have a place to be able to host them as well. Yeah.
Like the members, like what has been sort of what's the common need for these folks? Like from the GP perspective, like what are they asking for or needing?
I think we've mostly built the study. Like we now have, I think, 3,500 members. So
wow.
Yeah. So we've grown quite a bit since even last we spoke, where I think we were around 2,000.
Yeah.
And now we're at 3,500. And so it's hard to really pinpoint a specific thing because it's such a broad community. So I'm sure people are in it for different reasons. But I think our kind of like base has always been the continuing education of the courses we do.
Yeah.
So we do the hands-on workshops, we do the online webinars, and it's just being able to provide our community members with a practical, educational, and also like grounded way to treat their patients better has been, I think, what's drawn people to the study club. My philosophy's always been, and like all of our faculty as well, we have very similar philosophies in terms of how we want to do this, which is like, I don't want to just show people the cool stuff I do with my patients. What I want to do is show them maybe certain things that they can take practically home and change the way that they practice with their patients for the better. And in return, I get to learn a lot from them too. And that's the best part of it, is each time I have a group of people that I'm doing a hands-on workshop for, I get little pearls from them, and how they communicate or how they do certain things clinically. So I think it's grounded in wanting to treat our patients better. That's what I think grounds our community and brings it together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, backtracking here, like coming from the perspective of a specialist, that's important for you, for your practice, isn't it? Like seeing their mind and their perspective, how you can better fit in that sort of that workflow. You know, you're seeing maybe a lot of mistakes or a lot of like interesting cases coming through them. Like, how has that elevated your own practice? Let's get into that.
A lot, I think, like different ways. So obviously, the study club in the community has been a major driver for the practice in terms of referrals, because we've built relationships with community members, and if they're ever in need of a prosthodontist or a periodontist or an orthodontist, Transcend's available, and we love to get to work with our community and beyond. So there's that practical aspect of how it's tied in. And then from the maybe more abstract way of how it's useful to me is when you're teaching constantly, you have to be on top of things. So I'm 100% confident that the way I treat my patients is so much better because of all the teaching I do. Because I have to know why I'm doing everything I'm doing, because I'm going to be asked when I'm teaching. And so I have to be on top of the most modern techniques, the materials, why I do this, why not do it another way, why is this better, what's the best way to do it, and that's constantly evolving. So I think without the teaching component, it'd be very easy for me to just stick to the way I've always done things. But with the study club and all the educational stuff that I'm involved in, I have to evolve as well. So it's definitely, I think, leveled up my clinical care as time goes.
Yeah, where do you pull your knowledge for? I had Dr. Bradley Bishop. I chatted with him not too long ago, and I like a community amongst specialists. You guys are kind of siloed a little bit, right? Like, where do you find, where do you pull most of your information from? Is it from a global perspective, or, where is that juicy bit of material that you go back to on a regular?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I get a lot from, like I said, the community itself as I teach, because, for example, very often I'll be teaching and I'll get asked a question where the answer is I don't know, because I don't know everything. And so that obviously then prompts me to immediately after be like, that's something I need to look into.
Yeah.
And then with my specialty training, what I always tell people is like, what specialty training taught me to do is learn how to learn.
Yeah.
And so I can then take a question and go into the actual literature and look through the evidence and try to decipher the evidence and then come to learn what the answer to that question is. So the community has prompted a lot of those questions, and then I do my due diligence in going through the literature to learn it. Social media is a great prompt for that too.
Sure.
I don't think social media is the best way to learn something, but it's a great way to prompt yourself as to things you want to learn. And I do that quite a bit. I'll see something and I'm like, that looks interesting. I want to learn more about whether that works or not. What does the evidence say? How do you do it? And then that opens up the path of evidence-based learning, which is learning through actual evidence that comes from literature. So social media has been a big part of it. The teaching itself has been a big part of it. I'd love to go to more of the specialty conferences. I just haven't had time over the past few years.
Is there value in those?
There definitely is. Yeah, like when you go to, for example, the American College of Prosthodontists annual meeting, you get world-class prosthodontists and other specialists talking about very relevant things. So there's definitely pearls that can be taken from that type of stuff too.
Yeah, you're kind of on the front line of it, aren't you? Like I think that's the nature of being a specialist. You're kind of consolidating the information and coming to the best evidence-based conclusion for whatever current things need to be faced.
Within the scope of what I do, that's the goal. That's what I try to stay on top of. Yeah.
Sprinkled with all the technology, right? How much value does companies like Henry Schein or Patterson or Sinclair Medline, DentalBytes, Serona, like, are they helping out with the community building as well and the information? Like that's their R&D too, right? There's a lot of information that goes into building these pieces of technology to serve you as.
Yeah, we've had really great support from like corporate partners for the study club and just building the community and the practice. Like, it's a team effort. It really is. Like not just our team, but like our team and the community that surrounds the team. With like dental technology and equipment being one part of that team. So we've had really good support from the beginning. The way we've structured things through the study club is it's very agnostic. So we want to teach on whatever we want to teach on based on the education of it.
100%.
And then what we do is we try to then draw in from the dental community potential partners that would have a alignment with whatever it is that we're looking to cover. So most of our sponsorships are like event-based. So if I'm doing something on porcelain veneers, then we'd look to see, okay, what are the technologies that I'm utilizing in my day-to-day practice? What are the materials that I'm normally using for this type of thing? And then we reach out to partners and see, hey, would you be interested in supporting this? And then we need them too, because I think one of the most important things to the education we do is the hands-on components, and the hands-on components are not possible without support and collaboration. Yeah.
Are they coming to the table? Like, are these companies coming to the table with, hey, we've got something really interesting that would be beneficial to, show your community? Do you get a lot of that?
All the time.
How do you make, I'm sure, but how do you make that decision? Do you make that decision based on what's happening currently with the sort of that brain that is the BC Study Club? Like, how do you determine what folks are seeing?
I mean, as you can imagine, like with Transcend and the Study Club, 3,000 plus members, I'm getting requests on a daily basis almost of like, let's do things, which is really, I'm grateful for, because that means that that's faith in what we're doing. For me to, again, just try to hone in on what makes sense, I ask myself a very simple question: how does this add value to the members? And that's kind of the only answer that I need, which is, how does it add value to the members? If I can answer that very clearly, then of course I want that involved, because ultimately it's going to add value to our members. And so it's really as simple as that. It might seem oversimplified, but it's as simple as that. If someone's coming to me with something, first of all, am I familiar with it? Like, I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know about or don't use. But then second of all, is that thing going to add direct value to our community? And if the answer is yes, then that's a win-win situation for everyone.
And staying away maybe from the gimmicky sales stuff. How hard is that? Because there's lots of people that are like, oh wow, there's so many members here. It'd be great to show my widget to these people, right?
And it goes back to that question, because normally the gimmicky, salesy stuff, the answer to will this add direct value to my members is no.
Yeah.
And so that closes that door.
Yeah. Like, how do you stay away from that? Like, if there's even some financial incentive there, like, is that?
Well, I mean, if I didn't want to do this for the long term, I honestly don't believe I would have created the community we created.
Yeah,
it would have been very easy to try to make more money early on, but that's not the objective, at least for me. Obviously, I want this to be sustainable and to do well, but if I have a long-term vision of creating the best possible dental education community in the world, which is my goal, then I'm going to have to play it for the very long game, and that means that it has to be based on the value given to the community.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy, at least for me, to separate those things.
Yeah,
and that's what I tell people all the time, like, it's not personal.
Yeah.
I would love this. I would love the offer of what you're telling me you can provide me and the community, but it's not a personal decision. It's a decision about what makes sense to add value to the actual community at this time.
The organic
and that can
steps,
change. That can change over months and years.
Yeah,
and,
what sort of like what are the members sort of like? Are they bringing things to you that would be nice? Is there some KOLs that are across the country or globally that you're bringing in that are?
Yeah, we have we have like the BC Dental Study Club faculty, which means the educators that teach our different programs. So we have faculty all across Canada. We have faculty in the US. We do programs where we bring in a expert from Brazil, for example. So our educators are from all over. And that part's, again, very simple. It's like, how do we get the very best educators in their niche, in the area that they are experts on? How do we get them to come and share that with our members? So that's been a lot of fun too, just getting to meet very talented educators and very talented clinicians from all over. And there's one thing that I think all world-class educators have in common is that they love to share their knowledge. Yeah. And so that becomes a very easy conversation to have because they love sharing their knowledge. We want them to share their knowledge. It's easy to make that happen.
Yeah. What makes a good educator in your opinion?
The love to share knowledge,
yeah,
I think, is the key part of it.
The passion behind it.
The passion behind it, the ability to share from a perspective that is detached from their ego.
Yes.
Right? I see that as sometimes a big conflict. Like, I sometimes see people teach, and I think you would be an excellent educator if you were just able to separate your ego from it.
Tone it down.
And instead of wanting to necessarily teach by showing how great you are, teach by showing people how great they can be.
How does it, like, we talked about this last time. Like, one of my favorite clips that we had was sort of we talked about ego. Like, how does that happen? You know, like, is it clinically they're just killing it, they're feeling good about it?
You mean, how does the ego happen?
Yeah, like, is it a self-serving thing? Like, where does that come from?
I think, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak to everyone, but I think where it comes from is just also the nature of what we do. It's like what we do is so intense in dentistry, and I think the way that it's structured from the very beginning, like if you think of someone's journey to become a dentist, they have to be competitive, right? You had to be really good at school, and then you had to be really good through your undergrad, and then you had to be really good to get into dental school, and then in dental school you were competing to be really good at that. So there is that competitive aspect where I think, like, you have to be good at what you do, and I think that also builds sometimes insecurity.
Sure.
And so
or they're maybe seeing what everybody else is up to, and that's intimidating. There's a lot of intimidating things happening.
What we do is intense. Like, we're sometimes doing things and, patients don't like you. You're sometimes doing things and your team doesn't like you. It's easy for insecurity to flow in. And I think ego sometimes is just the counteract to that. Like, you're defending from that insecurity. And so I think that's a big part of what it is.
How do you circumnavigate it yourself?
I don't know if I do fully. I'm sure I have my defense mechanisms. I'm not perfect, I'm sure, but I think what I try to focus on is I don't care whether I'm the best or not. I genuinely don't. Like, I want to be. I'm very competitive. I do want to win at all the stuff that I do. But I'm not wanting to win for the sake of winning. I'm wanting to win because I want to build as much value as I can in the process of doing so. That's what fulfills me. So it's kind of like it's a personal race as opposed to an external race.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is why, like, honestly, my head's so down all the time. Like, I don't even know what's happening around me most of the time people will come and be like, oh, did you hear about this person doing a new study club that's similar to what you're doing? I'm like, no, I don't, but I wish them well. Like, my head's down and I'm focused on what I'm doing, and that's all that matters. So,
like seeing it as I think that's where people go wrong. I think people go like, I've heard like, hey, Mark, there's somebody that has this podcast. Like, great.
Yeah, that's
like,
awesome,
there's even been people that have started or trying to start podcasts and are reaching out. I think that's don't see things as a threat. I like if we can all learn to collaborate more. Maybe somebody's starting a great study club that they're doing things that are benefiting, and you're like sharing this. Like,
and I think the reason you're able to think that way is because you have a deeper purpose to why you're doing this.
Sure. Yeah.
If your only purpose to doing this was self-driven, like for Mark to make a lot of money, or for Mark to have the biggest podcast, or if it was only revolving around you, then there's no way for you to not see external things and view them as a threat.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it, you can want all those things that are personal, but if there's a deeper core to it that's also, I'm also doing this because I believe in creating community and adding value to my listeners and all of those things that are net positives, then you view anyone else trying to do the same from a positive lens too. Yeah. Because they're going to accomplish those great things that you're trying to accomplish too.
Like that's kind of how I see it. I think it's net positive, right? Yeah. Like if you're stealing from the system, it's okay every now and then, but the body of work, if you're, we're not here forever. So if you like, I think good legacy is if you're good at what you do, and then you use that learning to then teach the community, and then maybe, because of that, you created 10 people that are empowered to, and it's like this exponential growth part of like the base of dentistry is like it's a scientific medical thing. Like I think the body of knowledge there, the more that people are sharing and collaborating, I think the net positive, everybody benefits at the end of the day, right?
For sure. For me, my driving force has always been make a difference. Like that's the quote that I've always kind of had in the back of my mind. And the reason I really wanted to get into education is because I realized I can only make so much of a difference with my two hands. Even with Transcend being a multi-specialty clinic, we have different providers. So it's not just my two hands. There's only so much we can do in a clinic. It's limited in scope. Education becomes exponential, like you're saying. Because if I can just help someone, if I can help a group of people treat their patients better, they're going to then treat tens and hundreds of patients better. Take that up a notch now. If what we're doing, for example, through the study club, encourages someone to start their own study club, that's an even more exponential change, because now what we've done has inspired someone else to do something that's going to help countless other people. So it's like I view it as like a ripple effect, but it doesn't mean that it's not also fuel. Like I don't know how you feel about it, but like I literally, not making this up, had a call on Sunday with a fellow prosthodontist wanting to talk to me about advice for how they can open up a study club here locally. Yeah. And I think I had a 30-minute call just giving them all the information I've learned over the past 6 years as to how to build a study club or not. And to me, I was, again, very encouraged by that, because if they can successfully do that, then, again, it's exponential change for the dental industry and our community. But then at the same time, it's fuel for me to get better.
Sure.
I'd love to see someone start a study club, and I'd love to see someone be able to take their study club to what we're doing, because that's only going to then fuel me more to take it to the next level. So to me, I don't view it as competition in a negative sense. I view it as competition in a positive sense. And the better my competition can be, that actually is a positive for me. I feel good about it, because then I know that the better my competition is, the more fuel it's going to be for me to level up. Yeah. And it's like a win-win cycle for everyone.
And I think you have the right view of it. Like, if you're looking at it through your own lens and you're getting, hurt by it. Like you're looking at it as sort of the big picture. And I think that's what it's all about when you're taking on something like this. You know, it's got to be about the community. It can't be all about yourself. And who's to say down the road, whatever individual has started that study club is you're collaborating. Maybe you have like 100%. A combined events. Yeah. Or maybe they do something really cool and you do a little something different spin of that. And who benefits is the community, right? There's a lot of interesting things happening in Alberta. You know, it's cool to see. This is sort of like BC's culture in this industry. You know, we talked about, you know, what PDC means. I think more of this community, more of this sort of this open dialogue is better. Especially, you know, you have these individuals that are so isolated, right? Mm-hmm. So isolated on a regular basis. It's daunting, the amount of hats that they wear. Like, do you delve into sort of the business aspect of the practice? Do you ever get into that, or marketing? Is it purely clinical?
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should consider like looking at sort of the big practice, you know, running front of the house. There's like we talk about state of mind, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, state of mind, you got it, you're focused on all this clinical stuff. Yeah. You get pulled away from wearing all these other hats. Like, you know how that impacts you on a day-to-day. Has there been ever any thought on bringing in sort of like business leaders or a good accountant or anything like that?
It's something that I'm actually very interested in getting into myself.
Sure.
Because obviously I firsthand experience on founding a clinic as a startup and growing it over a few years into a multi-specialty clinic and so on. And then I'm also wearing different hats with the study club and the speaking and the lab. We also have a lab that I'm responsible for like growing and all that aspect. So I understand that part of it. The reason I've hesitated to start talking about it is I don't like to talk about something unless I feel like what I'm saying has been tried and true and proven.
Sure.
Like, I don't know how I feel about the experts that have never really done something or have done something for 3 months and now they're experts on it. So
what about like a public forum, like where everybody comes to the table as an equal and you guys talk about the business of dentistry?
Yeah, I'd love to do something like that. Yeah. I'd love to do something like that.
I'll
facilitate.
I'll facilitate.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. That'd be very valuable, I think, to everyone, because I think the most valuable thing out of that will be realizing that you're not alone in it.
Yeah, keeping it, like you said, agnostic. Yeah. You know, very 30,000-foot view.
Yeah.
What's challenging you? You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I mean. We'll find that we probably all have very similar challenges.
I'm sure.
It's like everyone feels like they're in it alone and, you know, nothing's working out for me, but the reality is those challenges, almost everyone's probably experiencing similar or somewhat similar.
And like, honestly, that's taking away from the clinical aspect of the practice, right? Like that's what I like from my perspective. I see a lot of like everybody gravitates towards more of the hats that everybody's wearing, right? Clinically, I'm I'm an idiot, right? Yeah, I listen to you guys a lot about that, but from my perspective, it's the more systems are in place, and also like personnel too, like the culture and the practice, the values that they're bringing to the table, the individual purpose of you know, why they wake up every morning. You know, it's a really interesting. I think that there's a lot of folks that need help with that.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah,
I like by far, with no close second. What you just said is the hardest part. Is
it a tough topic? Because it involves like people's feelings and right?
Well, for me, and this is maybe my downfall too, it's like I'm extremely, extremely logical. So I'll break down something that has a lot of human emotion in a logical way. Sure. So which makes it great to have a conversation about, makes it a lot more tricky to actually handle situations in the moment. But I think that'd be very valuable, because I think, at least from my perspective, that's the most challenging part of running anything, whether it's a study club or a clinic or a lab. It's the team, creating the team and managing the team and changing the team and all the things that come with that.
And how have you navigated through that? Because it seems like you've got a great team. You've got good people that have surrounded you. Like, what's at the nucleus of that?
Well, I have my challenges too with that. So it's not perfect. I'm very lucky that I've had very good team members, and by very good team members, I mean we're aligned, because I feel like that's what a good team means, is that you're aligned on certain things. I always say our team has always been very different as individuals. Like, you can sometimes find it hard to find anything in common between us personally, yet we're so aligned in why we're here every day. And I feel like that's been the part to it. And I've been learning over the past few years, I've been learning to understand more what different individuals value more than others. I think that's been a big part of my learning experience. Without that perspective, it's easy to think, well, I would think of it this way. I'd see the value of it through this, but that's my limited lens. And what I'm learning to do is understand that people have very different lenses. What I think is valuable might mean absolutely nothing to someone else. And what they actually are looking for and would value would mean absolutely nothing to me. And that would be the disconnect. And unless I'm trying to decipher it and view it through their eyes, then we're going to be disconnected. And I'm just going to be thinking, well, why aren't you appreciating this, this, and that? And in their mind, they're going to be thinking, well, it's because I didn't get this, this, and that.
Sure.
And unless we know what those are, then... So I've been learning that and trying to understand that better. Keeping, I think, the bigger picture, like you said, in mind has been for me the North Star of this all, where it's like sometimes you have to make very difficult decisions, and sometimes you have to make decisions that might even hurt you in the short term. And the only way I found that anyone, or at least that I've been capable to do so, has been seeing what the long term looks like, and understanding that even if you're making short-term decisions that might be difficult, where, and I think talking to colleagues, that's one of those biggest challenges. It's that people try to avoid conflict at all costs.
Yeah.
And that does one of two things. Either it leads to you building up to something that's then going to just blow up, or it leads to you settling, and you just accept what ends up happening. And I think what I've worked very hard to try my best to do is not accept either of those options, where I don't want to settle and I don't want to just avoid something for the sake of avoiding conflict until it really becomes a problem. So what I've been trying to do is just approach things as needed, being thoughtful, being somewhat strategic, but confronting them as needed. And even if that means short-term turmoil, short-term difficult decisions, short-term challenges, short-term setbacks, all of that to me is still worth it, because we're building towards the future.
What are the determining factors in that for you? Like, obviously, like long-term vision.
Yeah.
What influences that for you?
What influences what the long-term vision is?
Yeah, like, is that something that changes every day, or is that you have this? You know, are you looking 10 years down the road, and this is your dream, and you tumble into that dream? What builds that for you?
For me, the long-term vision very rarely changes. The path to get there changes constantly, and there's pivoting along the ways, and there's decisions to sometimes have to take a step back to then take 2 steps forward. All that happens all the time, taking, side routes and whatever. So it's not that there's a long-term vision and I just have a straight path there and I force it. No, but the long-term vision itself doesn't really change. So for example, for me, Transcend has always been about uncompromising quality. And so that's been the long-term vision from day one, and will hopefully continue to be the long-term vision for as long as I'm doing it. What that means, uncompromising quality, is something that I've defined very early on. Like, uncompromising quality to me means, first and foremost, patients get the very best possible care through experience, through what they experience at the clinic, through the treatment they get, through the technology that we use, through the material. All that's defined. So I know that that's what I'm aiming for, to achieve uncompromising quality for Transcend. And then how I get there shifts, right? maybe I thought of doing it as just pros and then realized I need different specialties involved, and then at some point realized I need a lab. So the path to getting to there changes. The same for the study club. We want it to grow into the best possible dental community worldwide for us to help each other become better clinicians and treat patients better. And so how we get there changes. Initially it was online, and then we started doing in-person stuff, and then we realized, okay, we want to also do some social events. Now we're expanding to Ontario and the US, and we're running programs there. So the path to getting there changes, but the objective and the destination, I think, stays somewhat the same.
Time-wise, how do you divide your time appropriately? Like, obviously, you've got great team members that are helping kick the ball down the field, but on a day-to-day, you might be chairside, and there's some BC Study Club stuff on your mind. What is sort of like time-wise?
Yeah.
Are you like, when do you find time to sleep?
I sleep, no problem. Yeah, that's my. I always say that's my superpower. That's the one thing that doesn't change.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad of a day I've had. It doesn't matter how busy the next day is. It doesn't matter how behind I am.
Yeah.
I'm getting my sleep.
Sure. Yeah.
And so that's one thing I don't compromise on. But outside of that, how I schedule is, first of all, I have a great team. I have a dedicated executive assistant whose main responsibility is to organize my time. And so that to me has been a very important aspect in being able to do all of this. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. So example you gave, I'm seeing patients all day and there's a study club thing that I need to deal with, then the study club needs to schedule a time for us to review what needs to happen. Obviously, if there's emergencies or things, then we'll figure that out. But outside of very urgent and unexpected things, then it's just all organized and scheduled. I love what I do, so I work a lot. I'm not gonna lie, like I work a lot. So I work 14-hour days. That's not abnormal for me. I work 6 days a week. That's not abnormal for me. So I think to be able to do all the stuff I do, it's a conscious decision that I've made where I enjoy it, and this is the type of lifestyle that I am willing to live and enjoy living. And so I don't shy away from that. I'm not looking for balance. Yeah, I'm not looking for balance. That's not something that matters to me. So yeah.
I think that whole the balance thing is kind of an anomaly. If you're pushing forward on certain paths, I think that it's purely like there's so much sacrifice.
Yeah, and it's so unique and personal. And so this thought that there's a work-life balance that everyone should strive towards just, I think, demeans us as individuals, because it's like, I'm not the same as you and you're not the same as me. Why should my balance be the same as yours? And mine's not better than yours and yours isn't better than mine. It's just be self-aware enough to decide what your right balance is without society influencing what that is. That to me is the big thing. I think that society has tried to influence what the balance should be, and I disagree with that. Yeah. I think that each individual has the capability, if they want to actually honestly self-reflect and decide what that balance might be. And for some people, that balance is, I want to work, 20 hours a week and spend the rest of my time doing other things I enjoy in life, and that's perfectly great too. You know what I mean? So there's no right or wrong. It's just being truthful with what it is that works for you, and this is what works for me at this stage in my life. Mm-hmm. Maybe at another stage of my life, I'll have different perspectives on it.
You paused there.
Yeah.
It's truly, it kind of boils down to, I think somebody like you, it's like you're working on something that's bigger than yourself.
I hope so. Yeah. It's not.
Oh, you're humble in saying that, but you truly are. Like it's abundantly apparent. Like the amount that you're giving to the dental world is significant. And I'm, you might just be like whatever, but it's true. Like this is like kind of your gift to the community. Like sure, there might be some great beneficial things that you get out of it and a lot of personal fulfillment, but this wouldn't be as successful as it is if. You know what I mean? Like everybody's buying in, so there is value to that, and I see the community stuff. I think is just as important too, like the events and getting together, and and just being amongst, like if we were all the same species, right? Like we're all seeing the same things, we can talk the talk and not feel so alone with it. I think that's a huge part of it too, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important parts of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like getting pulled aside, and like I'm sure you've heard a lot of sort of personal battles that people are going through, and you know, you guys are offering help. I'm sure like that's what the community does. Like you lift each other up. I think we all benefit from, you know, it's such a, like, yes, there's all this like online stuff happening.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it can be kind of white noise too. Like if you're not involving yourself in it, some people don't like have an entry point into it as well. Like, you know, there's people on social media that are putting themselves out there, but you know, it's kind of like they're just there's no reciprocation to that. So face-to-face stuff is where it's all at. You know, I think. You know, you cooked this thing out of COVID, right? It started off online. Yeah. But how it's great being face to face. Yeah. Nothing beats that.
100%.
Like you, there's sort of like a wavelength in being in the presence of people. Like it's a cool thing. Yeah. That's why I think the PDC is so much fun. Like obviously it's a busy day for CE and being on the floor and learning a bunch of stuff. My favorite part is like running into Faraj on the floor and like, hey man, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in like 6 months, right? And we're all sort of like getting pulled in every million directions, right? I think if we're like creating something like this, gives everybody maybe an opportunity to like add something to the community. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know, it is sort of your baby, but you know, you have colleagues that are involved, like faculty members too. How fun is it for them to get up in front of the room and talk to the group too?
I'm sure they love it because, like you said, being a great educator means you love to share, and I think that's what the study club's really been able to provide. It's a platform where people can share at a very, very high level and a large scale. So when we invite someone, for example, to give a webinar for the study club, that webinar is probably going to be watched live by close to 200 people.
Yeah, how many people are you getting online versus in-house? Is it like they can go watch the recording too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, so we get people that watch it like live as it's happening, and normally it's around like 200 to 300, let's say.
Do you get a lot of like the folks? I keep jumping in here.
No,
do you get a lot of folks like that are logged in that are participating too, like in asking questions
yeah. And as it's grown, it's actually become like I just did the webinar for this month on occlusion, and I couldn't get to probably half the questions. Yeah. It was just like it was already like 8:45, and we're supposed to end at 8:30, and that's amazing. Like I say that happily because that just means there's so much engagement. And then of course, I invite everyone whose questions I didn't get to like reach out, and we'll find another time to be able to discuss them. That's my favorite part of it because like I'm sick and tired of talking to a screen. I've done it for so many years now, like you said with COVID. That's why I now refuse to give webinars except like for the study club and then maybe exceptional circumstances with certain types of things.
The hybrid really works.
The hybrid's good, and then if you are speaking to a screen, the best part of it is getting questions. Yeah. Because then you actually feel like you're engaging with other real human beings.
Well, isn't that like part of being like involved in that type of format? Like, I think participation too shows how rich the material is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right?
You. No, that's one of the main. So when I'm like assessing a educator, for example, to see whether they'd be a good fit for the study club or not, let's say they're doing a webinar and we're assessing whether maybe we want to have them do a in-person workshop or something. One of the key things that I look for, I think you asked me this, but I didn't think of this point, is how much engagement do they get? Yeah. If someone's getting a bunch of questions, that's probably a good thing. It's either a really bad thing or a really good thing. Right? A really bad thing if like people are asking questions where they don't understand anything.
No question is a dumb question, right?
Yeah. But most of the time when there's a lot of questions, that just means people are engaged. They're tuned in. They're listening. They're giving back with questions and comments. And for the online stuff, that's to me the most important and enjoyable part of it. And then the in-person is just so much different. The in-person, we're limited by venue and by, like, most of our in-person workshops are hands-on.
Yeah.
So those are limited in number. Like, we have them from anywhere between 16 to 32, depending on how many instructors. So those are limited just because of the nature of what they are. And then our dinners, I think you've been to some of them.
Yeah.
Our dinners are just limited by venue. So when we do our gala in November, which is going to be across the street at the Hotel Vancouver, that's probably limited to 200 people just because that's what the venue allows. I'd love to find a way, and I am thinking of ways to do so, where we can have, because we have 3,500 members, so I'd love to find a way where we can all get together, or a lot of us get together in one place. That means some sort of study club symposium.
Yeah.
Which is maybe what the future holds.
You have like rooms of, it's maybe a round table where, you get groups.
So
and
kind of like a mini conference.
Yeah,
of some sort.
totally. Like that, I think you'd fill that up completely. Yeah. You have like a good pulse on what's important to people, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it, I'm sure you're being asked what's the pulse, right? Like people are kind of following that. You must, right? You must.
I think so. I mean, we ask for feedback constantly,
and that should sort of dictate what comes next, isn't it? Like that, like that's organically how it flows into the next thing.
That's how we build all our topics. That's how we build all our workshops. It's never me sitting with the study club team saying, "Oh, well, what are some good topics?" It's never that. It's like, send a survey out. Let's get our thousands of members to contribute with their opinions and what they would see value in. And then we look at that and we make it happen. So that's how we decide all of our scheduling. That's how we decide all our webinars. It's all based on feedback from the community.
Yeah. When are you building like the course next? That's like you have all this accumulating material.
What course?
You're going to build a course. Like you must
be.
You've got like, what does that entail? Like is it a very basic level? Like where are you at with that?
So we have multiple courses as a part of the study club. Like when I say hands-on, most of those are courses. Now, some of them are weekend courses, but we also have curriculums.
Yeah,
so for example, we have a 1-year implant training curriculum.
Okay.
So it's a full year. People sign up for it. They're committed for 12 months, obviously with an advanced schedule. It's 130 plus hours of education.
Wow.
And for that, it's an implant program. So we walk them through everything implant related. Treatment planning, the theory, the diagnostics. They come and do stuff on models. They come and do stuff on pig jaws. And then they bring in their patients and they place implants on their patients under specialist supervision, which is actually happening this Friday, Saturday.
Oh, cool.
They're bringing in their patients downstairs. They'll place implants under supervision. And then in November, we'll restore those implants. So it's a full year curriculum on implants. We're also doing a 3 to 4 day curriculum on occlusion. So that's one of the complex topics in dentistry about occlusion.
Oh, yeah.
And so that took me some time to figure out how I want to lay it all out. But I think we did a really good job with it because we just did it the first time this year.
How do you keep occlusion sort of high level? Because there's all sorts of different philosophy, like the spares, the Kois, Pankey. Like how do you keep it sort of agnostic again?
I did this one with Dr. Mariana H., which is a prosthodontist I work with as well at Transcend. So we developed it together, and for us, what we wanted to do is avoid tailoring it to any rigid philosophy. So the entire concept was, let's talk about what we know, what we don't know, what we guess, because a lot of it is just theory and guesswork, and just be very open about how it all comes together, and then tie it in a practical way. Because we do it practically. I'm a full-time clinician. I'm seeing patients 4 or 5 days a week, so I know what the reality of actually doing is. And so if we understand the theory, if we understand the philosophies, if we understand all of that, we can then say, okay, well, that aside, what do we actually do and see with our patients? And that's what we try to do with it, just make it extremely practical for people to actually understand, here's what you can actually do when you're seeing your patients.
Yeah, because there's so many bodies of thought, especially when it comes to occlusion.
And that's, I think, one of the reasons why it's such a mysterious topic. I always say this, it's not you, it's the education. It's because I think over time, with textbooks and different philosophies of occlusion, which are, some of them are really good and some of them are a foundational part of how we think about it now, it's been so restrictive. It's like, this is the way, and you buy into this way, and then that's the only way.
Yeah.
And that's what I think doesn't work with occlusion.
How important is it to keep an open mind when it comes, like, obviously you're looking at evidence-based, but how important is it as a medical professional to keep sort of an open mind to new things coming through?
Very, because no matter how high level evidence you go, and occlusion is one of those things where it's actually very low level evidence. Most occlusion is just theory.
Yeah.
And like, this makes sense, or maybe this, we can correlate to that. So occlusion's low on the levels of actual like clear-cut evidence. But even when you do have high levels of evidence is just based off of averages a lot of times. It's like, it's stats, right? That's how you get numbers. So they look at 1,000 people, and again, the larger the sample size, the more likely you are to make an accurate conclusion. But at the end of the day, people have a standard deviation. And so if I'm taking this as my average, the patient in my chair may or may not be in that category. And so you have to have an open mind and clinical judgment to look at things and see things and ultimately say, well, I understand that the normal or average way to do this is here, but for this particular person or this particular tooth, it's a little bit different than what the average would be, and you have to have the flexibility to get creative sometimes within the scope of something that's evidence-based. So,
Occlusion is just tied to everything of function, airway, the whole, like, it's really interesting.
It's very broad and very mysterious topic.
And scary for a lot, right? There's a lot of that too. Like the folks that I've seen, like especially the veterans, they have the open mind. Like, they've been to Coyce and Spear, and like, they've done it all. Like, I think that's like, you're developing sort of your own judgment at the end of the day, and the way that you practice. Like, it's all about,
that's the best way to do it,
having success at the end of the day with your patients and seeing them 20 years after you've done XYZ treatment, and it's still, you know, obviously they're taking care of their oral hygiene, and things are, you know, that's
doing their part too,
the name of it, like, that's a big part of it too, right? Patient education. Man, oh man, we could keep going here. We're approaching an hour here, believe it or not. Thank you for allowing me to come here. I always I gained so much chatting with you over the years, and you've always been one of the most hospitable folks in the industry. What other thoughts have you had, like, sort of like top of mind these days? Like, coming into this conversation, what were you thinking about over the weekend? Like, you seem to be like we talked about this before we pressed play here. Like, you're on the highway. Like, you're tumbling down the highway maybe. You're like, clinically, like the practice is like time just flies, right?
Yeah, almost 4 years.
Yeah, and then BC Study Club is right along that. You're in the same building, which is like logistically such a coming upstairs. What's sort of like, let's talk short term. Like, where do you want to be? Like, what's your goal by the end of this year, sort of thing?
I had a goal set out from the beginning of the year for what I wanted this year to focus on, and it was just strengthening the foundational layer to all of these moving pieces. That was my goal. Last year was a lot of building up with this, the study club, Transcend, more specialists, more courses, all that stuff, expanding into the US, expanding into Ontario and other parts of the country. So last year was a lot of building up, and at the beginning of this year, what I had committed to doing is I want to be very limited in how much higher I go. I want to just go broader to strengthen the foundation. So that's been my focus over the past 6 months, and will continue to be my focus at least for the next 6 months. How do we strengthen our team? How do we make any changes necessary within our team to be able to have a very strong foundation in systems and in people and in all those different things? I've been delving super deep into AI.
Yes.
And
how much does that help? Let's go off on that tangent here before we. What are you using? What are you using it for?
I said this on another conversation I was having, and it just, I think, clicked for me. Because people ask that all the time, how are you using AI? And I say, sure, I'll give you the answer today. But just so we're all on the same page, that's the same thing as asking someone, how do you use the internet?
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what I believe it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Maybe when the internet first came out, people would ask, how are you using the internet? Oh, I search for whatever. But a few years later, it's like, how do you use the internet? What are you talking about? Like, I use it in every single thing I do.
I think there's more layers to it, though. You were showing me agentic. Like, that's something, like, there's not a lot of people that understand what agentic AI is, and like teaching skills now, and having different, agents working together for some common purpose within that infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like, it's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. It's transformative.
Yes.
It's transformative, and I know there's a lot of unknown right now about it, but I encourage people to really lean into it. I've had it on my list of things that I want to get into. Like, I want to talk more about AI because I think it'd be very valuable to the dental community in particular.
Are you using any diagnostic tools like Pearl or anything like that in your day-to-day?
Not in our practice. I'm very familiar with them, and I think they're great.
Yeah.
The reason we don't use them is because as a specialty office, we're not like...
You're not looking at caries or whatever,
exactly.
And that stuff's been developed for GP, I guess.
Exactly. So it's really, if I was just seeing patients for screening all day, no-brainer.
100%.
Like no-brainer, But we use it in a lot of things. Obviously, it's built into a lot of the technologies we use clinically, whether it's the scanners, whether it's the implant planning. We've recently integrated virtual jaw tracking into our practice, which has been a game changer for us with all the larger reconstructive work we do.
We talk about occlusion.
That very heavily depends on AI too.
Yeah.
In terms of, that's actually pretty crazy how they use it, because they have thousands and thousands of patients in their data sets, and it allows them to use AI to interpret the ideal functional movements and relationships. So there's that clinical side of it. I'm implementing AI into the actual systems of our practice and the study club too over time. I redeveloped our entire infrastructure for how we administrate the clinic into something that I think has been just a lot more efficient for the team and a lot more user-friendly and a lot more measurable. For me, I have, like you said, multiple AI agents that help organize a lot of what I do. Like my AI agents will probably have sent me 3 or 4 Telegram messages during our 1-hour conversation, updating me on certain things and asking certain things and telling me that I have to make decisions on certain things. And it's mind-blowing.
It is.
It's mind-blowing because this is all in the span of less than a year.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, goodness. It's just the capability alone. Like, if you're just talking about like from square one to just the day-to-day, like even just like question information driving, it's wild. It's so
I've been coding and I don't know how to code.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, like
you can build a website and
like built multiple websites, multiple
crazy.
CRMs, and I don't know a single thing about code.
It's like we can. That's a whole other podcast where we can dive down.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, obviously, there's some negative connotation out there with sort of the environmental resource using capacity of it.
And I agree with that. I'm just pretty confident that we as human beings are going to figure it out, and that problem will probably be solved.
Yeah.
And there's already, I think, like some big companies saying, okay, we figured out how to cut the water consumption down by 80%.
Yeah.
And now it's a matter of making it cost efficient. So it's the same with any technology we adapt as human beings. It's like initially it's very inefficient. It has a lot of waste. It doesn't work well.
We put lead in our fuel and we correlate it to all this stuff, and we take the lead out of the fuel. Right? We poison ourselves for a little bit.
Cars.
Right. Yeah. It's an interesting technology is. I think you said it when we started off on this. Like, you just got to lean into it.
Yeah.
Like, the benefits are massive just on, somebody like yourself too. Like, on a day-to-day, how many processes in your own mind are going full-fledged. Like, if you can purpose that with like agents that are sort of leading those fronts, and then you have human intervention interaction with it. It's a beautiful thing.
I can very honestly say that in the past year of starting to really delve deep into AI, and again, this is something I want to like talk more publicly about, because I feel like a lot of people would benefit from hearing it. I've probably at least 5x'd my personal productivity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can't do what I'm doing without it. Honestly, we'll compare notes at some point. We should go for lunch or something. I'll tell you what I'm up to. I'm writing a book too. Like, it's like I'm doing so many things, right? I'm writing a book, and I'm wanting to like make episodes of each chapter, and I'm animating it.
Oh wow!
So it's
just like creative outside stuff.
Outside, it's my own personal thing. I'm
Really
working
cool,
on this with a buddy, and it's been so much fun.
Wow!
The capabilities of like, boom, you have the character that you're writing about up on a screen, and it's like, whoa, this is amazing.
Wow!
Like
No, we've got to sit down and chat more about this.
Yeah, like it's the ability that it's bringing to people's fingertips. I just. Like it's so empowering.
Yeah.
Like like obviously animators are looking at this like
threat,
as a threat, but as individuals, I'm sure with their creative ability and creative mind, if they'll
use it better than
they're going to use it better than anybody else, and it's all input based. It's all prompt based.
Yeah.
So the more creative you are with your prompts, it's not just like I need this and boom, it's there.
Yeah.
It is like. You're like I have some like thing like
it's still you.
It's still me, but
still
like
you.
I will have all my clients. I'll have an individual
project
working, and that's been open for 2 years, and it's just building and building and building. And I couldn't do what I'm doing today without it.
Yeah. So it's an interesting time.
It is an interesting time.
Yeah.
On that note. It's been an hour, my friend, and I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate your time.
This was fun. Thank you.
It's always so much fun, and we get it to the most fun part, and it's time to shut her down. But any final thoughts before I let you go?
No, I appreciate it, and we'll do it again next year.
Sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. All right.